May the secret and powerful prayer of Saint Benedict be with you. This prayer is ancient and reveals why Saint Benedict was chosen by Jesus Christ. It reveals the profound spiritual power and extraordinary charisma of Saint Benedict. Few people know this, but the strength surrounding the name of Saint Benedict does not come only from his holiness, but from a spiritual work so profound that it has spanned centuries and remains alive today, as if it had been written recently. He was not just a monk, a man dedicated to silence, solitude, and prayer. He was, and still is, a spiritual warrior, someone who stood against temptations, attacks, terrifying visions, works of evil, and trials capable of destroying any human being. Saint Benedict was born in the 5th century and grew up witnessing the collapse of the world. Conflicts, famine, betrayals, idolatry, corruption, and spiritual decay. For many, this was the end. For him, it was the beginning of a silent, profound, and transformative mission. From a very young age, Benedict understood that an invisible battle was unfolding around him. It was not a war of soldiers, but of spirits. Not a battle of weapons, but of consciences. Not an attack on the body, but on the soul. He understood that every negative thought, every temptation, every restlessness of the heart was not random. It was a subtle but real attack coming from outside. And that is why he made the most radical decision of his life: to renounce the world and seek what no one else sought. The true strength that comes from union with God. He climbed Mount Subiaco and isolated himself in a cave, where he lived for years. Many thought it was madness, but Benedict knew exactly what he was doing. In that absolute silence, he spoke with God. Only the wind and the morning light could touch him. And it was in that sacred solitude that the prayer we now call secret and powerful was born. Not because it was hidden, but for a long time it was known only to those who experienced the deepest spiritual combat. There, amidst visions, pain, temptations, and terrible apparitions that tried to destroy him, Benedict did what no one expected. He did not flee. He did not surrender. He did not remain silent. He faced the darkness head-on and proclaimed, "May the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide." These words echoed in the spiritual world like thunder. And when they were engraved on the metal, a metal still recognized today as one of the greatest spiritual weapons against evil, they became a symbol of absolute protection. And it is from this ancestral strength that this prayer is born. A prayer not only to be recited, but to be used as spiritual armor, to be carried in the heart like a shield. This is a prayer to open paths, cut negative ties, expel oppression, dissolve envy, break curses, and silence any opposing force that rises against you and your family. Today, with faith and reverence, you will enter the same spiritual atmosphere where Saint Benedict walked. You will touch the same force that protected him. You will be in the same light that repelled all evil. Prepare your heart. Take a deep breath. What you are about to hear is not just a prayer. It is a ritual of liberation, protection, and spiritual authority. Before entering the deepest part of this prayer, it is necessary to prepare the soul. Saint Benedict knew that every truly powerful prayer is born from three things: humility of heart, willingness to detach yourself from what weighs you down, courage to ask for what will truly transform your life. Therefore, now, before invoking spiritual strength, place yourself before God as Saint Benedict did, with inner silence, with truth in your soul, and with total trust in the divine. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine an ancient mountain covered in mist. Imagine Saint Benedict standing there, wearing his dark habit, his staff in hand, and the Holy Cross raised. Feel the peace that emanates from this man of God. Feel the light that surrounds him. Feel the wind blowing through the trees, carrying away everything that no longer serves you. Fears, insecurities, emotional burdens, and old wounds. Now imagine yourself walking towards it. It doesn't matter if your soul is tired, broken, sad, or restless. It doesn't matter if you've been struggling with negative thoughts, inner conflicts, sleepless nights, or great worries. Saint Benedict looks upon you with kindness. Like a spiritual father who understands your pain and sees your path. He extends his hand toward you, and you feel the presence of God drawing near. From that moment, prayer begins to arise within you. Repeat inwardly, I surrender myself to the light of God. I take refuge in divine protection. I accept the spiritual strength that Saint Benedict received. Now, with reverence, imagine the medal of Saint Benedict shining on your chest, filling your entire being with sacred power. Now, with reverence, imagine the medal of Saint Benedict glowing upon your chest. It shines softly at first, then brighter, until its light warms your heart and steadies your breath. That light is not just a symbol. It is a spiritual force, a shield forged through centuries of prayer, sacrifice, and divine grace. As you feel the sacred light spreading through your being, let your mind settle. Let your heart quieten. Let your soul remember who you truly are. A child protected by God. A traveler guided by divine hands. Someone who is never abandoned, not even in the darkest moments of life. Saint Benedict stands before you, solid, calm, grounded, like a spiritual mountain. His presence doesn't intimidate you. It lifts you. He looks into your soul as though he has known you for years, as though he understands your battles, your fears, and the secret storms you carry alone. He sees the pain you've tried to hide. He sees the burdens that have been wearing you down. He sees the silent struggles you've fought through the night. And instead of judgment, he offers compassion. Deep, sincere compassion that touches the deepest part of your being. In that moment, the air around you changes. The wind slows. The atmosphere becomes thick with holiness. You feel as though heaven itself is drawing nearer. Saint Benedict lifts his hand, and the light from his cross shines upon you like a gentle dawn, calms the thoughts that race in your mind, quiets the noise of anxiety. It softens the weight of sorrow, and little by little it brings you back to yourself. Now, hear these words as if Saint Benedict himself were speaking them into your heart. Where God is, darkness cannot rule. Where the cross stands, fear has no voice. Where faith rises, every chain breaks. These words enter your being like water entering dry ground. They heal, they refresh, they restore. You breathe slowly, deeply, and feel something lifting, something heavy that has been sitting inside you for far too long. Your shoulders relax, your chest opens, your spirit steadies. Now you are ready to enter the spiritual path Saint Benedict walked, ready to stand under the same divine protection he carried, ready to claim the same authority he proclaimed in the face of evil. Imagine the ground beneath your feet changing. No longer are you standing in an ordinary place. You now stand on sacred soil, the same mountainside where Benedict himself prayed, fought, cried, resisted, and overcame. Mist rises around you. The scent of earth and pine fills the air. Everything is still, as though the world is holding its breath. And there, in the silence, you feel it, the invisible battle, the spiritual pressure, the ancient conflict between light and darkness. But you do not fear, because you stand under the protection of the cross. You stand under the mantle of Saint Benedict. You stand with God. With your eyes closed, you feel the metal over your chest warming your heart. Its symbols, once just markings, now pulse with power. The letters come alive. The Holy Cross is my light. Let not the evil one be my guide. These are not just words. They are a declaration, a spiritual roar, a command that echoes across realms. The wind rises suddenly, as though responding. You feel energy rushing through your arms, your legs, your spine. Your whole being awakens. You are no longer merely listening to a prayer. You are standing inside it. You are participating in a spiritual moment that transcends time and place. Saint Benedict steps closer. He places his hand gently on your shoulder. And the moment he touches you, everything changes. Your mind clears. Your spirit strengthens. Your heart, once restless, finds a steady rhythm. You hear a whisper. Not outside but inside. You are protected. You are held. You are not alone. A warmth spreads through your chest, then outward through your whole body. Benedict feels like sunlight breaking through years of darkness. Feels like waking up after a long night. Feels like hope returning, gently, quietly, but unmistakably. You take another deep breath. You feel grounded. You feel safe. You feel the presence of God. And now the prayer begins to rise, not from your lips, but from your soul. The sacred light surrounding you grows stronger, as if heaven itself is drawing closer. The air becomes denser, filled with a sense of divine presence. A presence that doesn't frighten, but reassures you, anchors you, strengthens you from within. Saint Benedict now stands before you not just as a saint, but as a guardian, a protector appointed by God for moments exactly like this. You notice his eyes. They are calm, steady, firm. Eyes that have seen darkness face to face and did not tremble. Eyes that have watched storms rise and watched them fall again at the sound of God's name. He lifts his cross slowly, deliberately, as though marking the very atmosphere with holy authority. And as the cross rises, you feel the shift. A quiet hum beneath your feet, a vibration in the air, a pressure that was once heavy beginning to dissolve. It is as though something that had been clinging to you, fear, doubt, spiritual weight, is losing its grip. Saint Benedict speaks again, but this time his voice carries through the air like a deep resonance. Where Christ stands, no shadow can remain. These words sweep over you like a wave. You feel them enter your chest, your stomach, your arms, your very bones. You feel them cleaning, clearing, purifying the places where you carried old wounds and silent battles. Your breath becomes steady. Your heartbeat strengthens. Your spirit rises. Now imagine the mountain around you shifting. The mist clears just enough for you to see the path ahead, narrow, ancient, sacred. This is the path that countless souls walked before you, seeking refuge, protection, and spiritual strength. And now it is your turn. You step forward, and as you do, the ground beneath your feet glows faintly, not with fire, but with divine light. Each step feels intentional. Each step feels guided. Each step feels like a declaration of victory over everything that once tried to weigh you down. Behind you, you can almost sense the shadows retreating, not because you are fighting them, but because the light you carry is too strong for them to remain. Now Saint Benedict walks beside you, his staff tapping softly against the earth. You feel protected, as though an invisible shield surrounds your entire being. Then, from the silence of the mountain, a memory surfaces, a memory not of your past, but of Benedict's, the cave, the darkness, the years of isolation, the visions that came to torment him, the whispers of doubt, the attacks that struck at him in the loneliness of the night. You see him standing alone, holding his cross, refusing to fall. You hear him proclaiming, "Crux sacra sit mihi lux," may the Holy Cross be my light. And suddenly you understand, this prayer you are entering is not just ancient. It was forged in fire, in war, in the long dark nights of the soul. It carries the strength of someone who faced everything you are afraid of, and overcame it. You feel your own fears rising to the surface. The fear of failure, the fear of abandonment, the fear of not being enough, the fear of repeating old wounds, the fear that the darkness you fought will return again. But instead of resisting them, you let the light of the metal cover them, and one by one they begin to fade. Saint Benedict places his hand over the metal on your chest, not touching your body, but touching the spiritual armor that now surrounds you. And he speaks softly, "Let everything that burdens you fall. Let everything that wounds you release its hold. Let everything that chases you lose its power." You feel something inside you break, but not in a painful way, in a freeing way, as though a chain that had been wrapped around your soul for years has snapped, as though a weight you forgot you were carrying has finally lifted, as though the part of you that was tired, stretched thin, and overwhelmed finally gets to breathe. And breath comes to you, deep, clean, holy. Now the prayer takes a deeper turn. You see, not with your physical eyes but with your spirit, a shadow forming in the distance, a representation of everything that has oppressed you spiritually. Not a figure, not a monster, just a dark presence, heavy and cold. It tries to move toward you, but it cannot cross the light. The metal pulses. The cross burns bright, and you feel no fear. Saint Benedict's voice becomes firm. Vade retro. Go back. Retreat. You have no authority here. The shadow recoils. It trembles. It breaks into fragments and dissolves completely. Not by your strength, but by the strength of God flowing through you. A peace settles over the mountain. A holy stillness. You realize this is what spiritual freedom feels like. This is what divine protection feels like. This is what it means to stand at the center of God's light. Now Saint Benedict turns to you again. There is a new expression on his face. Pride, approval, recognition. He sees not someone broken, but someone rising. Not someone afraid, but someone awakening. Not someone lost, but someone finally walking into their own spiritual authority. He speaks. The power you seek is already within you. It was placed there by God long before you asked for it. Now rise into it. And with those words, the light surrounding you begins to intensify. The prayer is reaching its highest moment, and you are ready. And now, take another deep breath. You have walked by faith, by protection, by clarity, by light. But this final part, it is here that the chains truly break. Saint Benedict not only protects you, he transforms atmospheres, he cuts the roots of evil, he undoes the works of darkness, and he commands peace to return to your path. So now, as you prepare for the final consecration of this prayer, open your heart to receive what heaven is giving you at this very moment. Let us continue. Saint Benedict, defender of souls and guardian of God's light, walk with me now in the final hour of this prayer. Bring your shield before me, your cross behind me, your strength beside me, and your blessing above me. Wherever evil arises, may your presence crush it. Wherever fear approaches, may your faith silence it. Wherever confusion tries to enter, may your clarity expel it. Saint Benedict, I now place at your feet all the hidden battles of my life. Battles I speak of, battles I hide, battles that weigh me down, and battles I don't even see coming. I surrender them all into your hands. Protect me from every false path, from every deceitful voice, from every spiritual trap, and from every hidden snare that seeks to steal my peace. May the cross of Christ stand firm over my house, my sleep, my work, my mind, my spirit, and every chosen step of my journey. Break now, Saint Benedict, every curse, every spiritual attack, every inherited burden, every shadow that walks without God's permission. Break now every fear rooted in the past. Break now every anxiety linked to the future. Break now every weight that presses down on my present. Break now everything that tries to crush my spirit or silence my voice. May this be the hour of freedom. May this be the moment of divine intervention. May this be the turning point that heaven has chosen for me. Now, place your hand on your chest once more. Feel the invisible metal of Saint Benedict shining more intensely than before, warming your skin, dispelling the darkness, filling you with a courage that seems older than time itself. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Saint Benedict is with you. Christ walks before you, and heaven surrounds you. Repeat with authority. Crux sacra sit mihi lux. Non draco sit mihi dux. The Holy Cross is my light. No evil will guide my steps. Again, the Holy Cross is my light, and no evil will ever guide my steps. Now the breaking begins. Saint Benedict, with the authority God has given you, break all the chains that bind my life. Break the chains of fear. Break the chains of loss. Break the chains of spiritual oppression. Break the chains of exhaustion and discouragement. Break the chains of envy, jealousy, and hidden malice. Wherever darkness has tried to settle, order its permanent evacuation. Wherever evil has tried to take root, uproot it completely. Wherever doubt has tried to paralyze me, replace it now with unwavering faith. May every force that rises against me fall. May every tongue that speaks evil against me be silenced. May every shadow that tries to follow me dissolve under the power of God. Saint Benedict, raise your cross over me now. Mark my path. Mark my home. Mark my future. Mark my whole being with the victory of Christ. And now, with all of heaven as my witness, I declare, I am protected. I am covered. I am blessed. I am free. Nothing forged against me will prosper. No darkness will dominate me. No evil will approach my dwelling. No curse will cling to my name. No spiritual attack will touch my life again. Because the cross of Christ is before me. Because Saint Benedict fights by my side. Because God himself walks before me. This is my shield. This is my armor. This is my divine protection. And as the last words of this powerful prayer settle in your spirit, receive now the final blessing. May the peace of God fill your sleep. May the strength of Saint Benedict guard your days. May the light of Christ illuminate every step you take. And may all the evil that once pursued you break, fall, and disappear forever, never to rise again. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, may God enlighten you and bless your financial life and your family against all spiritual evil. May Saint Benedict enlighten you. Amen.